So we are starting the remaining part of this painting today. Previously I painted this as white. I have used several different colors, white and Van Dyke brown, combination of portrait color, a little bit hints of fluorescent pink. But now I'm just giving it a base layer of white. I'll use along with it several different colors in some lighter proportion, not that much overwhelming. You can also use flat brush here. If you want to use flat brush, you can go for it. But right now I have picked this round brush because I need to contain these pigments here in this area. I have to be a little vigilant with my color application here right now. We need to uplift the base colors because base colors are a little darker. So I am adding some white to it in order to uplift the colors that are already in the base. I will leave some parts blank. I won't go there. But in the major parts of this pillar, I'll apply white color. This is how you will paint every pillar found in this painting. This is the pattern that you will follow with every pillar, corresponding pillars in all these directions and dimensions. If you want to uplift an overwhelming, if you want to give an overwhelming touch, you will add more Van Dyke brown and lift it upwards. If you want to add more depth to it, you will add some black, the combination of Van Dyke brown. Here in the edge, I will give some prominence using the black, and I didn't clean the brush. You guys can see that this brush contains all these pigments that already are on this brush. No cleaning, no dipping in the vessel, no cleaning, no swiping the brush, using it. I think that if you are blending the painting, that would be the perfect best bet that you can do and go for. If you would use the already used brush, you won't clean it. So in this way, the brush strokes will give you multiple sort of shades, not a single shade. It will contain multiple different shades. So your painting will be a bit shady, means shaded. It will contain several different shades. So if you want to add darker shades to it, you can go for Van Dyke browns, lighter tones. You already know we have portrait tone, we have a fluorescent pink mixed along with white. We can also go for ivory shade. Ivory shade you can formulate using little bit of red, little bit of blue, white and yellow, mid yellow. If you will use all these combination, you can write it down if you want to. I can repeat it for you. You will use 4 colors to formulate ivory shade. White, mid yellow, red and blue. These 4 shades will formulate ivory shade. You can also go for a cream shade. You will just add white with mid yellow, or you can add some depth to it using raw sienna. Ivory shade will be used in these parts here. So this is how every pillar found in this painting will be painted. You follow this pattern throughout the painting. So this is why I've shown you one pillar, and you will follow this and the entire paintings, other pillars, painting other pillars. The adjacent pillar you will show using Van Dyke brown mixed along with black and grey, mid grey. I'll make a border because you need to show it as a separate pillar behind the main pillar. So we'll use some pigment, make a dilution of it, and just swipe it downwards with these little brush strokes, so that both of these pillars are appear as a separate entity and not as a single pillar. People will get to know that these are two pillars, not one. So you'll give prominence to this one pillar by adding some depth from behind this pillar, main pillar. Some depth, some shading I will do in the bottom. For painting the floor, you will use diluted white color first, because you have already primed the canvas with the underpainting using Van Dyke brown and black. So you can go here for white, diluted white, because the base is already brown, so you don't want to hide it. Means you don't want to hide it, so what we will do, you will go for the minimalistic white, and a little bit portrait color you will add, maybe some fluorescent pink combination. You go for it first, then again and again you will do some layering of white color. In this way, the final version of the painting, you will get the final white floor, but it won't be purely white. Won't be purely white, but yes, it will have some traces of other colors, like the previously used underpainting brown, Van Dyke brown color. It will have traces of that. You can also use a little hint of Van Dyke brown along with this white. It's totally up to you. If you want it very white, just go for the solo white performance. But if you want the colors to be blended in some other shades with some other shades, you can go for the combination colors. Use very light colors along with a good white color. Means a thick white color, not so thick, but yeah, diluted. So in this way, you are going to get the perfect shade for the base color. You can let the color dry, and then you can again do some layering on it, on the top of the white color floor. If you have applied some dense color in certain area, you can use water to blend it all out. 7 different shades that we'll be using would be, and some parts we will just leave. Like for example, this flowy part, you just do some light touch-ups of the white. You can mix white with portrait tone or Van Dyke brown. You can go for it, but you will leave this part more white. It would not contain that dense white, or you can go for some touch-ups of Van Dyke brown here as well. Like for example, if I've applied dense brown here, I'll just go lighten it up, and I will choose white to blend things out on it. I hope that you guys have got this point, just as I have displayed here right now. This is how it will be done. You can go for, since this is a passage that will show the reflections, you can go for the strokes like these. Well, here in this part, it would be straight. Your strokes will be like this, and for this part, strokes will go from top to bottom, downwards.
Only that.
Yeah, from starting till the end, you can go for this stroke pattern. You can always go for, you can color mix the blends of portrait tone and along with Van Dyke brown. Make a dilution of it, and you can easily apply here blend things out. Use water along with white shade if you want to cover those areas, but don't cover it that much because you need to have this underpainting too visible, because that too is a part of your artistic expertise. People should see your painting should contain this. Once the painting is dried, you have done this first layer, let it dry, then you can apply a second layer. Like for example, this drop, I will apply the dense color, not the diluted version of white, to hide it, a denser white. So your floor will be made something like this. Near these pillars, you will add depth here, because this is a line that will contain shades. So here you will add depth, or add some Van Dyke brown. If you want, you can use black as well. You will make the dilution, you will spread the color, blend it all out. It will give you something like this. Same here in this part. This is how we are going to make the floor. Here the floor has some patterns as well. We have some patterns here on the floor as well. If you guys can see closely, the reference image contains some patterns. So for that I am using grey and black and combination color of Van Dyke brown. I'm just showing the pattern. I just need to see that how it is. Something like this. I'm just vaguely drawing it. I'm not giving I'm just giving an impression of it. Not exactly drawing what it is. I'm just giving some impression.
Ma'am, in your original painting, the floor is brighted and more white.
Totally up to you. It's up to your choices. I want it a little bit dim. You can add, this is why I'm telling you that you can add multiple layers. Right now I have added the first layer. If you want it brighter, you can add more white to it. If I'll add more white to it, it will get brighter ultimately. So it's up to the artist's choices, the color sequence, the schemes the artist wants to see in their painting. It's totally up to their choices. And I'm not following one reference, I'm following multiple references. Some grey I'm adding to this geometrical shape that I have made. It's just that I'm giving an impression to through this design. If you are adding some subjects, you will add shades of that subject as well. You'll see where the light is coming from, and you will make a shade of that person who's walking by. Like for example, this subject, as you can see, the first subject in my painting has some shadow. So this pattern, this geometrical pattern will be followed in the entire painting as the people are approaching towards the vanishing point. This is how it will be made. And this is the pattern of this is the color sequences of the pillars that you will use, the color combinations that you will use in the pillars, and you will follow these color combinations in the entire painting. So now I am going to do the other parts, especially the diamond cut of the pillar. If you have any questions, you can ask. Okay, so for these diamond cut pillars, since we have a darker base already, so we need to since we are going to apply some lighter shades on the top of it, for that I need to outline it first with using white. As I've told you guys previously, that if you want to uplift any color on the darker base, you need to first apply, make a layer of white shade on that particular part, and then you can go for white shading. So first I am going to apply the white color, I will let it dry, then I'll be doing some other parts, I'll come back to it and get it done. Okay, so this part of the pillar, this diamond cut, the side of it, it's already in the shadows. So here we are not going to concentrate on the detailing. I'll just give some hints of the details. That's it. We are done here. It will be like that. You don't need to give much highlight to this part because it's already in the darkness. Just pick up some areas where there's light and where you need to focus on some details, and we will get done. Not much of the attention we need to give to this part. Okay, we'll get back to it once the color gets right. I'm going to do the roofs first, then I'll get back to this part. Here, this part I'm going to do. For this part, I'm going to make. I'm going to mix white with raw sienna. You can also use yellow if you want. I'm going to mix white. You can also go for ivory shade as well. Ivory shade we formulate using red with blue, yellow and white. 4 colors. But here I'm going to use just the creamy yellow mixed with white, or raw sienna mixed with white. Where I have to add some depth, some warmth to the shades, I'll add more raw sienna. Where I have to lighten things up, I will add white more. If you are following this is kind of a reference which has ivory shades, because there are images where there's a night view of this reference, and in the night view the colors are changed, the palette is changed. The palette contains orange mode, orange yellow, orange, shades of orange and yellow, orange red, red, orange yellow. These are the shades that I use in the night mode. And in the day mode, you won't use warm tones like oranges or warm tones, right? You would use the blend neutrals.
Can it go on grayscale?
Yeah, definitely. It can also go for gray. It can also go on gray scale. You can make it gray, entirely gray, black, and white. Three major colors you can use in this entire painting. And you can also cherry to the top of your dessert would be a combination of gray, white, black, and Van Dyke brown. You can also go for a grayscale version of it. You must have seen some images that contains only the grayscale, gray and white. That's it. Grays, you can go for gray, mid gray, white, mid gray, black, and Van Dyke brown. If you want to make your own version of it, you have got the canvases right now. You can go for your own little version. So these are the colors that will be used over here, and on the top, the roofs. You can add some warmth to these shades by adding raw sienna. If you want to add Van Dyke brown, you can go for it. If you want to add raw umber, you can go for it. If you want to add burnt sienna here, you can go for it as well. Just go with this flow. Be experimental with your shades application. Just don't get stuck to only application of one sort of shade. Go on a self-discovery process once you are painting something. It will undiscover a lot of things that are hiding behind your artistic talents. So here in this part I have done this. As far as the detailing is concerned, I'll use Van Dyke brown for that. And I will just outline that details using black color. Right now this part is liquid, it's wet, so it's not that friendly right now to work on it, but later when it gets dry, it will be convenient for me to give it a good highlight. For intricacies, you just have to go with some different sort of henna patterns or anything. That just don't need to focus entirely on making this in a realistic way. Just add some intricacies just like that, giving it an impression only. For this globe, I will add white. It will be like this. Some hints of yellow too. And I will let it dry. I'll wait. Meanwhile, I'm going to execute the same thing. I'm using the same shades, black, no, not black, white with raw sienna. You can also go for portrait tone. Means these are the shades that are going to use primarily on these patterns. And here we have this light. It has on the top of this light there is one black block, then white, then black, then white, and the pattern goes on. You need to have brown pattern here in this middle section. It will be like that. So using the same brush, I am applying multiple shades. Right now I have applied white mixed along with raw, and this part, this linear part would be a little bit tilted. It's the side of it, so its shape would be different than this main block. Main block would be straight, but as it is approaching upward, it will also be tilted. But the inside of this part, this linear image, this linear line, the rib will contain a different sort of the block. It will be like that. Then comes again the another block, which will contain the same shades, portrait tones and raw sienna mixed along with white and the pink. And if you want to uplift this color, you can use white. You can give white, some shades of white, some hints of white. You want to uplift the color, you will use white. If you want to give some depth to it, you will use black or Van Dyke brown, the dark shades that you are using, and you will give this linear image a little bit line in order to separate this main rib to the side rib. Alright guys, you getting me? This is the line that I am going to draw in order to separate the mid-rib front blocks to the side blocks, the hidden blocks.
Using the hint of white.
Using a hint of white, yes. Not the dense and very sharp white. Just a hint, subtly, very lightly. I'm going to use these shades. Portrait tones, you can note all these colors because these are very important. Once you will forget it, you will lose the grasp of this painting specifically.
Ma'am, how to be sure that we will add a brown or white block in the middle, in the center?
We'll draw first. We'll make all the dimensions first. We'll be using white gel pen or white pencil. We'll make the measurements first and then we are going to paint it. I've done this homework previously.
Can we start from the center rather than
Definitely, if it's totally up to you. But this is a definite thing that you need to have on the top of the light. You need to have a black block.
Okay.
So if you'll start from here, you'll have to just count these blocks first, and you'll have to position all these white blocks in this lane, and you have to make sure that both of the edges will contain black and the top will contain black. Rest is up to you how many blocks you want to fill in. It's totally up to you. But the top and the edges should contain as per the reference. I'm following the reference. This is why I have chosen to paint these blocks as per the reference. And similarly, you can go for a little uplift of this color, and you see that when we have done this underpainting, so it's not giving that pure color of the colors that we are applying. It's giving a little bit brownish black and then this color. So this is the difference.
So priming underpainting is always important.
Yeah, most of the time it's important, but not always, yes, but yeah, most of the time. For this painting specifically, I would recommend everyone to go for the Van Dyke brown first. If you are painting in a grey scale, then go for grey. But the painting should be done, the underpainting should be done in this painting. I think that it is important. I don't know what other people think, because everybody perceives the art in a different way. They make art in their own style. This was my style. And if you are going to discover some other style, that would be great, and would also be a learning experience for me to make it in a different style. So guys, I'm coming back to this part. I'm going to add some 3D effect to this pattern that I have made using white in the outlines, some hints of it, and inside I'm going to use black. Similarly, just like for example I have done here, it would be similar as I've done here. I will repeat this step here too as well. Always take the tissue paper in your hand, or swipe tissue paper or anything. Swipe the extra, because your brush should not contain the extra amount of pigment. Otherwise,
when you're detailing.
Yes, when you are detailing specifically, if it will contain extra amount of pigment, then it will be a nightmare for you to handle it, because it will spread everywhere. It will be very inconvenient for you to handle that spread of the color. So if you are doing the detailing very specifically for the acrylics and watercolors, you have to be a little careful with your brush, carrying a specific amount of the pigment and not much. Okay, so there is a little calligraphy over here, so I've made it. I've given it a little impression. Okay, so I'm going to do a triangle. This part is done. You can add some warmth. Even in the corners, you can add orange. Here, you can use burnt sienna, orange, some light shades, just as I have applied. Diluted shades, not overwhelming shades. Like this. And if you feel like if you want to add another layer to it, you can always go for it. Like for example, here I felt like adding some depth. I did it.
But always let the first layer dry.
Yes, exactly. Always let the first layer dry. Only then you can apply another second layer. Because the first layer is not dried completely, then how will this layer will carry the second layer? So we need to have a dried first layer. It's important. So this is going to be the side. It will be like that. This. Three, four basic colors you are going to use in the entire painting. Combination of raw sienna with white and portrait tone and fluorescent pink. This is going to be the color palette of your entire painting. Now here comes the triangular part. As I've drawn in this painting the triangles, specifically where, yes, here. This is the decoded part of the triangle that you will paint. It has three parts. Every triangle, there's a pattern, there's a line of triangle going on. One triangle is in the opposite of the other triangle. There is this pattern. The line of triangle. And this triangle has three parts. Similarly, this is just like a triangle has the opposite side of the triangle. Like for one triangle is on the ground, the other is in the sky. It's just like that, if you can imagine. So I've previously applied white color and now I'm going to use grey color.
One side is white and the other side is grey.
Yeah, but you need to see first. Means right now I'm doing the guess game, and because I cannot see clearly what I have done here, so I'm just guessing. But yes, these are the shades, like combination of grey with black or Van Dyke brown. These are the color combinations that we are using here. And of course, this shade that we have used, raw sienna along with white, this shade will also be used. You can leave this part as the base color, which is Van Dyke brown. So it depends. You need to decide first what color is going to be a perfect fit for this shading part. And for the outline, you will use white. There's a line separating all these triangles in the middle of it. like this.
With
Similar,
white line?
similar work here. Yes, with white. So very detailed work. This is why it will be like that. So if you look the reference photo closely, if you have the HD reference picture, you'll be able to see and decode what color sequences has been used in this part of the calligraphy, this part of the architectural work, and it will be easier for you to paint just like that. But this is the pattern that you will follow till the end. If you want to make that not that expanded triangles, you can just closen them up, make smaller triangles, not widen them up. I have drawn it wider, but you can also construct closer triangles. Something like this. Smaller in size. If you are getting me. You can go for the smaller version as well. Okay, so this is the part that we are done with. And this part of the triangle is to be covered with white. I just saw that. And this whole lane will be followed with white color. We'll make a boundary, we'll set a boundary of this white shade throughout the triangular pattern. So for the roof, same shades we are going to apply for roof. I am trying to wind this whole thing up in the due time, the given time, so that you guys can go to your portals and start painting. We have already wasted some time, but I need you guys to finish this, a major part of it. Same shadings you are going to do, and I hope that you guys will be able to do it. And I think that you won't find any difficulty in making all these roof and coloring it. Because same shades, that will be a repeated step and a waste of time. So what do you guys suggest? Should I go for this fanus, or should I do this pattern first? Or should I go for it? What do you guys suggest?
Patterns.
These patterns? Okay. These are the patterns that will be followed with a similar shade, but first we need to line them up. Here we have this part in the roof. We'll cover that with roof. You guys already know this. We have already painted this front rib. Right, we'll broaden it up a bit. Okay, the same patterns of the blocks that we are following, we're following these throughout the painting. In this part, then here, then here, then here, till the end. So we are going to follow that same pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 5, 6. This is the black part and this white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay guys, I will paint 5 blocks here in this side, leaving the block above the light. 1, 2, just giving some 3, 4, 5, These are the 5 major blocks that I have painted right now, and it will also have a side. It will also be spread in the side, so it has a side wall as well. We need to show that as well. Color combination of black and brown. I separated this side wall from the main rim using Van Dyke brown and black.
So it's basically the repetition of the second art that you made.
It is the repetition of second art that I made.
Yes. All these are
All these,
have same patterns.
yes.
Same style and scheme.
This is the same style and scheme. You will follow it throughout this sequences of the architecture's arches top.
So it's a sequence here.
Yes,
A sequence.
basically it's a sequence.
We will
I'll
also
follow this.
We will also follow this pattern first arc.
Yes, same pattern will be
Yes.
Yes, I'm going to
Right
do that.
over there.
I'm going to work on this as well. But these are the small detailing parts, so this was the major part. Similarly, you are going to paint the next arch in the same way. And you'll keep on painting until you reach these white blocks in a pattern like this. I hope that you guys can see now, you can relate, right? So this will be a pattern that will be followed. In this way it will give you this kind of a shape. Yeah, these whole white bricks will funnel down to one vanishing point.
Yes.
Okay? I am handling it. Don't worry, I am not that clumsy. Alhamdulillah. But I am trying my best. I am, but I am trying my best. I am clumsy. So in this way you will end up with these white patterns, you will end up near to the horizon.
Converging point.
To the converging point, yes.
Mhm.
And as you approach the converging point or vanishing point, these blocks will get smaller and smaller.
Because they are at the distance. At the
Smaller and
distance.
smaller. Or maybe you can smudge them. You don't have to be very much picky with the details. Just have to give some hints. Some hints of the block. As I hope that you guys have understood this point.
Or if you want to give more details, then you have to add more colors.
Yes.
Layers of them.
You
It's up
can
to us.
Yes. You can go for second layer, third layer. You can go for layer after layer if you are not satisfied with it. Right now I'm just giving it an abstract form of pattern, and that what I'm going to do, first I have given this abstract form of pattern, and then I'm going to use Van Dyke brown here to make the separators like this. I will then separate all these using Van Dyke brown and black on the same lines that I have previously made. I'll separate them. So your task, your work would be made easier. So where you think that the color has disappeared, the beige color, the white color, the ivory shade that you have used is now hidden under this blackness of the Van Dyke brown and black, you can repaint it, no worries. You can go and repaint it. But I am applying these separators so that we get a good shape. Now I think that you have got this point. You can broaden these blocks, but as they are approaching the vanishing point, they will get shorter in size. All these vanishing points will be referred to the main patterns, and then you'll end up combining all these vanishing points in this main arch. Main arches that are going upward, making a cloud. Let me give a hint of it here as well, so that it will be understandable for you to create it. This is the pattern that you are going to follow in this part of the vanishing point. Okay, so let me get back to this part. I hope that you guys have understood this and you will be able to paint it. Okay, Ahmad, all good? Okay, let's get moving to this part. We have white already, we have used white. Now we can go for another shades, and that will uplift the color. But we need to have some pigment, white pigment still on your brush, because we need to show the reflections of light. Whenever we are showing the reflections of light, we need to have white pigment. So white will be, and sometimes we also, what we also do is leave some portions as it is, leaving the black canvas, white canvas, or some parts of the white just like that. It also adds up to your painting showing the reflections of the light. I am adding 4 different shades here. I am adding burnt sienna, I am adding orange yellow, I am adding yellow, mid yellow, and white. These are the 4 shades that I have used here in this part of the painting. I will uplift and make this part 3D using Van Dyke brown and black in the base color. But right now I am uplifting, making design here using all these shades: burnt sienna, yellow, orange, mid yellow, and white. So these color combinations you will always be using in the architecture that represents colors like gold. Like for example, Dome of the Rock. The dome will be painted in these colors. If you want to add some more spice to it, you can go for orange as well. Orange, burnt sienna, and lime yellow, yellow, white. These shades specifically you can go for. The basic 4 shades are applied here. If you don't have any other color, no problem. But just concentrate on these 4 colors: burnt sienna and orange yellow, yellow, mid yellow. These shades are important. So for the depth, I will be using black along with Van Dyke brown, some parts where I want to give some 3D effect. Okay, so let me repeat this part for you. I am painting this part. In this part, I especially, first of all, I primed it with white. Okay, since the base was darker, so I needed to apply white color in the base first, in order to uplift the colors that I am going to apply. Okay, these are the 4 colors that I have applied: white and orange yellow.
You are talking about patterns, right?
Yes, I am talking about the design, the patterns that I have made, the intricacies of this diamond cut part.
You started with white.
I
Now
started
you are
with
black.
white. Yes, I started with white. Now I am using mid yellow, orange yellow, burnt sienna, for the color uplifting and making this intricacies. And then I'm going to use Van Dyke brown and black in the spaces to give a 3D effect, right? To uplift the color and the 3D effect I'll give. And for the lighter areas where I will see that the light is reflecting, I will use a solo white color. Solo white color I'll be using, or combination of white along with yellow. Okay, so when you are making dome of the rock, when you are painting any metallic object which is golden in color, these shades are going to be used. So I have also told you the color application where you can apply all these shades. For basic you can also go for orange. If you want it a bit spicy, you can go for orange. Otherwise, you can go for these basic shades.
Which ones?
Mid yellow, burnt sienna, mid yellow, orange yellow, and white. And for the light reflection, always choose white to show the reflections. If you want to give a good highlight and you feel like the base is not ready for white, you can wait. And once you see that this base color is dried, then you can apply white. I hope that you guys have gotten my point. I have some less time right now. I will be just finishing this whole thing up in 20 minutes. So I'm just winding the important parts. Rest is I'm leaving up to you and your expertise, your artistic skills. So this is how every pillar, the diamond shape will be done. Even this fanus as well. These are the shades that we are going to use. And this fanus part as well, this part. If you have any question, you guys can ask. Whereas here and the side, we'll use brown, Van Dyke brown. We'll cover this part. Just some hints of orange yellow, hints of burnt sienna, that's it. Most of the part here, it's a side because it's a side. So most of the part here is in brown color. Burnt umber, Van Dyke brown, some burnt sienna's hint. It will be like that. Alright. Now we are going to do this part. I'm not going to waste my time here. In the genre it has similar colors. We'll do the first base with burnt sienna and Van Dyke brown, some hints of it, and then we are going to apply the lighter tones on it, which is orange yellow, mid yellow. In this way we will get, and white as well. Where we will feel like to lighten things up, we'll add white. But these are all the shades that will be used in this part of our fanus. I'm not going to waste my time here because we'll miss out important things like here. So we are going to do that. So here in this part, we have a light first. Then another light, then another light. It's like that. Similar things I'm going to do. I'm going to paint it by first white. I'm going to do the base with white first. the adjacent light. And I will just let it dry because I'll do other things. This corner of the light will be a little bit out of this main frame. Okay, so I have already marked this pattern. This is going to be our main rib on the top of the light. Here too we have a structure. We have the extension of this part. What we are going to do, we are going to apply similar shades we have used. White mixed along with raw sienna and portrait tone and pink. But a lighter version of it, not that overwhelming. Because the side of this part of the wall, this part. So we need to show it. And what we are going to do after this, we are going to just dilute some black and brown, maybe black, yes, black, and then we are going to just make a little light stroke on this particular pattern that we have made in order to show it that it's in the hidden area. It has a cut. Now that I have made it, I will just wait a bit and let it dry, this part, because I need to show it as a separate demarcation, a separate segment, a boundary, which is not included in this part of the ribs. It's the another area. It will be like this. Okay. And again, if you want to add some, if you want to uplift the color, just use the diluted version of this color, the base color, and apply. For color uplifting, you will do it like this. Now we have our this pattern, which we are going to do. This block I am leaving as black, then white, and this whole lane will be painted this way. On the top of every light, there will be a line emerging, and all these lines will be curved at the central point. So we can mark that this portion will be black, then white, then black, then black, then white, according to this part. Then black, then white, then black, then white, and the shape will also be, like making itself the curvy shape. As we are approaching upward, the shapes will also change. So this is the main block. I am just changing some color in order to differentiate it with the top color. I am using mix of raw sienna along with white. Okay, so this is the side. We are showing the side. We are going to show 3 sides over here, and with the light brush will extend it upwards. Because this is our main rib, this is our main block, and these are the side blocks, side parts. Who's yawning? Okay. So this is. Give her some drink or she'll get caffeinated. I'm also very sleep deprived today. So in this part we have this main block. And the consecutive side blocks, and we will demarcate, we'll make a line measure, marginalize these blocks using the black and Van Dyke brown shade. You already know the main margin, right? So we'll just use Van Dyke brown and black to separate all these blocks.
So whenever we are separating, we intend to separate the blocks. We will use Van Dyke brown or black.
Yes, for the lines,
For partition, for
for
division.
partitions and divisions. Yes. As you guys can see that our main colors are mostly black.
So where we will be using white or lighter shades for separation? Not even that alleyway, that area where there is convergence, that convergence occurring.
I didn't get your point.
I mean, whenever we are separating the arches, so the demarcations we have to make with the black and the Van Dyke brown,
Yes.
not with the lighter colors.
No. Sometimes we can, like for example here, you can go for lighter tones to make some boundaries. Like for example, I have painted it black. Another black and brown. Sideways too will have black. Okay, so these are two blocks. I'm just showing what she's saying. Now I'll be using white, raw sienna. Along with raw sienna, and this is the side of the wall. Here too I have shown the side, black side, and similarly you'll have this pattern over here as well. So now what I will be doing is I will take the white color. Sometimes I do this too as well in this painting. There's some white shade, the same shades, raw sienna and white. Take out the extra color and make some lines like this. You can also clean it up using black color. I've done this as well in this painting. So it will be like this. And if you have smudged the shade, no problem. Add the base shade, which is white and raw sienna. This is how we are going to do this part. The thing that Miss Anam pointed out. We are going to do this linear image. We are going to follow this kind of pattern. If you want to create lines specifically, or else otherwise you can go for this option. You can just simply create some patterns and make a boundary using Van Dyke brown and black shade. I hope that this point is clear now. You can get a nice clear picture this way. This is the side of the wall. And here to the black side, we will show the black side like this. Some shade of white and some shade of grey. Some shade of the grey you can also use along with black.
Front part is always darker than side part.
Not necessary. You can also you can go for the lighter shade of the same base. Like for example, if I have applied black color, then you will go for a light tone. One minus of the black color is grey, so you can go for grey if you want to uplift the color. If you want to darken things up, you can go for the darker shades like black and Van Dyke brown. In this color palette, we are specifically using 2 dark colors, or you can use 3 dark colors. You can say we are using burnt umber black and Van Dyke brown. Sometimes we are using grey along with black, means more grayish black. So these are the shades that are using primarily in this entire painting. This is the side main block and the side blocks, and the separated lines will be meeting over here.
So it is up to us that we make whole painting bright or whole painting
In a vague way.
There are two tones. I mean, dark, brighter at the front end. The facade is brighter, and the rest of the painting or the distant parts are in bit dark or shadowed.
Yes, definitely. It's up to the artist. What is their preferences? Yes. If the artist wants this color palette to be very bright in the front and the darker areas when they are approaching the vanishing point, it is up to the artist. Whatever the preference of an artist is, they will apply it on their paintings. So everyone can go for their own artistic touch and their own uniqueness for this painting. I would love to see what you guys will do in your paintings. I have seen your sketches so far, absolutely brilliant. Everybody has performed amazingly, and I'm pretty impressed, and I'm very positive and optimistic about the proceedings of this painting. And I'm about to get it done, get over with this, and you can then start painting. Already formulated color palettes for you, so that you don't have to be very. It will get a very crowdy area, and everybody will be rushing for the colors. I've already made the palette, important ones. You can all pick those colors and start applying those colors. Start painting. I'll get done with the session, and I think that I have taught you what was necessary and what was the necessary contents of this painting. I've covered each and every area, and personally I would like to guide everyone. So feel free, when you'll paint, just feel free to ask away anything that is bothering you. If there is any correction, I will do it, no problem. If there is any question or query, if you want to change the entire palette of this painting, let me guide you, and then you can go for it. If you want to do it in a grayscale, totally up to you. If you have internet available, you can go for search for different multiple images of this pattern, of the same reference. You can go for that. I would really appreciate your artistic intelligence, and I'll be your huge fan and art admirer. Trust me. So I just want you guys to express yourself fully and freely without any inner conflicts and fears and what can go wrong. No, I just want you to express yourself freely.
We can also go in impressionism and abstract form.
Yes, you can also go for the abstract impressionism if you want to. If you want to make it look like animated AI version of the mosque, go for it. Just express yourself. Your artistic touches is very important in your paintings. So I would like to see what the artist will create today, and I'm very enthusiastic and positive about it that everybody is going to create their own version of their masterpieces, inshallah. So in this part, I have used these lights. These lights I have first of all I color uplifted using white, as you guys have seen. I made the sketch with the white brush. I usually do that. Then what I did, I applied the darker shades first. Usually I have told you, if you remember, that in most of my paintings I go from dark to light. So firstly, in these lights I have applied darker shades first, which included burnt sienna and Van Dyke brown and black. Then what I did, I waited for a while, then I recoated it with lighter shades including orange, orange yellow, burnt sienna and mid yellow, and the final lightest shade which was on the palette was white.
For lighter shades, you told orange,
Orange yellow, orange, orange red. Orange red you can use if you want it to be very warm. You can use orange red, because orange red is a very sharp color. You guys can see that this is the color of orange red. So it is preferable, but it's up to you, your choices. I'm choosing orange yellow. Orange yellow is a mix of orange plus yellow. So lighter tone, lighter intensity of comparing to orange red.
Okay.
I'm using-
orange yellow, orange red.
I'm using orange yellow, mid yellow, and white, and some hints of burnt sienna. When burnt sienna mixes with these color combination, it gives you some orangish shade, which I personally prefer and like. So I'm using those specific shades. In all these metallic things that you are seeing, I am using these shades only. Okay?
Hints of burnt sienna.
Yes, burnt sienna. Miss Anna, if you have any question, you can ask.
I have exhausted all questions.
No, you are coming up with good questions.
So we have to tailor our palette according to the color schemes that we are choosing.
Yes.
Even with the detailing and everything.
Yes, we have to first observe closely, zoom it out. Your reference photo, just zoom it, just try to
For
study.
example, if you are going to grayscale, then what will be the color of these lights and everything?
Purely white, grey, black, and Van Dyke brown. That's it. 4 colors.
What are
On-
those colors?
The entire painting for the grey scale. If you want this painting to be on the grey scale, then only 4 colors will be used: grey, Van Dyke brown, black, and white. That's it. And for the grey, you can also add black to it to make it dense grey, greyish, more greyish, like the patterns, flowery pattern on your scarf. Or for if you wanted these colors to be lightened, you will go for the white shades. You can mix Van Dyke brown as well with white, so it will give you a creamy brown color. So
all the patterns will be in these colors.
yeah, you can see if you have a photo of yours and you filter it out in a grey scale. So you see those colors. The colors are already there. The grey shades, the family of grey, 50 shades of grey. We have 50 shades of grey on that palette. So if you are painting this in a grey scale, then we have to. What I think that the preferable color, if I will paint it on a grey scale, then the preferable color would be, my palette would be grey, mid
Can you
grey.
add silver?
You can also add silver. Like for example, this part you will be painting here golden. You can also add silver color. You can also add silver patterns here as well. Make it shiny and shimmery. Yes? Yes, on the chandelier as well. So this is how it will be done. So for the color uplifting, I added some details with yellow, and this is the following pattern that we are going to follow in this entire painting with the lights, with this part of the architecture. This part of the architecture, as I told you, that this line, first of all you will draw it. Take the white pencil, draw it first. Make this rough sketch, and then you'll be able to paint it accordingly. So I will suggest everyone to make the drawing first and then to give a practical application to what you have drawn. Okay? So I hope that you have got all these main points with this white base of your painting. I am going to repeat every point for you in Urdu as well once we are done with this recording session, so that everything gets nice and clear for you and you guys can easily apply what has been taught in today's lesson, in today's session. I hope that every point is clear. If any student has some difficulty in understanding any point, I can repeat it, I can give a practical example to it. Please feel free to ask anything. This is the... Okay, I'm done with today's session. I hope that you guys have understood this, and it was a great pleasure having you here in my class.